Morning everyone, it's Sunday 7th of April 2019, and I wanted to follow on from the last video I made, which was to do with non-violent communication, to do another follow-on from that, which is to talk about forgiveness, or the philosophy of forgiveness. So what's it all about? So forgiveness, what is forgiveness? It's when someone or something has damaged you in some way, and you're letting go of any hurt or toxic emotions and thoughts around that. So the traditional philosophy of forgiveness is all to do with you've been damaged, right? So let's say someone has hit your car and damaged it, and in order for there to be forgiveness in a traditional logical sense, they have to recognize that they've damaged you and your property, and they should also know what it is they have to do to repair that damage, right? So in that example, it's to get your car fixed, and that will get you back to an even keel. So let's talk about, though, when you don't get that, how that affects you and what that leaves you with. Because if someone doesn't recognize what they've done has hurt you or harmed you, and they are like, well, what do you expect from me? You know, I've said I'm sorry, and you know, what more do you want? Type of thing. That's not putting you in an easy position to forgive, right? So in a logical sense, that person or thing doesn't deserve your forgiveness, right? Because they haven't made the recognize fully, you know, they might have recognized fully what they've done, but they've not put it right, you know, to actually get you back to even with each other, right? So, and that happens a lot, right? That happens a lot, especially in personal relationships, family relationships, and so on. People hurt each other, and they expect each other to just carry on or forgive them, or take it for granted that there is forgiveness, right? And quite often there's not. You know, there's a feeling that's left behind, which is actually a toxic thought or emotion. And actually there is another philosophy which enables you to let go of everything, really, and not hold on to any toxic thoughts or emotions, which is this. So if that situation occurs, you can look at it in a way whereby the things that have happened are happening for you rather than to you, and that changes your perspective on it. So the last video I did was about non-violent communication. It's about recognizing when people are tragically expressing their needs and their thoughts in a negative way, or a toxic way, or a tragic way. So you have to recognize that in order to listen with your heart and deal with it appropriately. And in every example, this can be at work or at home or anything. But the key thing is to let go of those toxic thoughts and emotions, because they harm you, your stress level, your physical needs, and so on. These toxic thoughts and emotions where you're not in a position to grant forgiveness to someone because they haven't done the things necessary to get you back to level with them. So what do you do in that case? I'm not saying that in that sense, forgiveness is something that traditionally you wouldn't be able to give, or you can walk away from this type of situation. But actually, the better way to deal with it is to think about what's happened, that's happened for you, and that it helps you grow and learn about stuff, and that's what you can take away from it, and therefore then it doesn't hurt you so much. Now, assuming it's a partner, or it's a family member, or something like that, then it's difficult just to walk away from that. But it's actually possible to realize that this stuff is happening for you. I'm not telling you to be a pushover and let everyone walk all over you. No, absolutely not. No, sometimes you do have to end relationships and walk away from things and toxic people and toxic environments. You have to walk away from that sometimes, and everyone has had that at some point in their lives. Is when you hang on and you keep forgiving a person that continues to do this, that's when it can really harm you. So you have to think, this is happening for me. I need to learn and grow from the experience, and then I don't actually have any toxic thoughts or emotions. I can let it all go. I can clear it basically, and just be much happier. So the philosophy of forgiveness is all about, okay, someone recognizing that they've done the damage and knowing what to do to make it up, but that doesn't always happen. So that leaves you with this negative or toxic kind of thought, feeling, emotion, whatever you want to call it, and the way to clear that is to realize that these things have happened for you. You've grown and learnt from all of that, and then you'll be able to move forward much happier and let go of everything. So and then you'll be healthier as well, because you don't end up having things in your mind lingering which then affect your body and your overall health. So don't be a pushover, but also don't hold on to toxic thoughts and emotions. Realize they happen for you, and sometimes you have to walk away from things that are toxic in your life, where this pattern of behavior is happening again and again. We are kind of from a very early age conditioned to think in terms of right and wrong and good and bad, and that's not something that's in the non-violent communication model. There is no good and bad, and you're not the one that decides what's good and bad. You can look at things, what's preferable for everyone universally, and think about good and bad in that way. So if something's good for you, it's good for everyone. And if something's bad for you, it's bad for everyone, and that makes it a universal principle. But if it's good for me and bad for you, then it's not universal principle. So you can look at it like that. But also you have to clear your mind of toxic thoughts and emotions, which kind of build up as a result of there not being the right conditions for forgiveness to take place. In other words, someone hasn't recognized the damage they've done and done what's necessary to resolve it. So the conditions are not there. So how do you forgive? You just let go. You just realize that this has happened for you, not to you. It's happened for you to learn, to grow, and to move on. And if that means ending a relationship, if it means just clearing your mind from toxic thoughts and emotions and moving on, that's fine, because it doesn't serve you in any way to hold on to something when there isn't forgiveness. So I wanted to share that with you, and hope it's useful.